And welcome to yet another episode of What's Happening Now with Laura. I am your guest, Laura, and with me this evening are 7 fantastic ladies. But we're going to come to you guys in a little bit. We're going to come to you, and I swear he's going to throw me off my game tonight. But so it's in all good fun. You know, there are nights where you just have to calm down, and you've got to just, throw caution to the wind, and you got to be a little less serious. Let me just let you know this evening, St. Lucians, is I have not forgotten or haven't put pause on the St. Jude saga. Far from it. I really want to discuss with you what took place in Vieux Fort last week with regard to the town hall meeting that was held by the Vieux Fort 4Cs. I can never remember what the 4Cs are. It's such a long acronym. But they call themselves the Vieux Fort 4Cs. And for the most part, I concurred with the sentiments, except for other reasons. Let's just encapsulate it a little bit before we go into the lighter side of this evening. A lot of what the doctors and the nurses and the concerned citizens said resonated with me. I am from the South, and I've always been a proponent for St. Jude being removed from the stadium and brought back or brought to a proper housing, a proper home. Okay, I think the hospitalium, we've had enough of that. I think we really deserve some dignity in our illness at our most vulnerable, regardless of what other people say and regardless of how they may misconstrue my intentions and ascribe agendas to me which really aren't there. The important thing to note is, as a citizen of St. Lucia residing in the south of the island, it is imperative for me to have a proper hospital to service the people of the south of the island. I have friends and family who work at the hospitalium. And for me, as Dr. George said on Friday, the building does not construe the hospital. It is not the sum total of the hospital. The building is the care given at the institution. That is what constitutes healthcare, not the building. Not the building. But if you are going to have a building, as you should have a home, if you are going to be a building, let it be to a standard that within 5 years, 10 years time, we're not thinking, okay, this no longer works for our situation. Let us be a little bit more visionary. Let's be a little less tunnel vision. Let us look further into the future. I know for some of us that's really a hard thing to do, but let's try to do that. Let's try to look further into the future and not just stare right at our noses, because you know what? We're going to be cross-eyed. Have you ever tried to look at your nose? You get a little bit cross-eyed, and that's exactly how I feel. I feel that our politicians and our so-called leaders are looking at their noses, and especially if you have a short nose like mine, it's going to be a little bit difficult. You know what I mean? And I think that for the most part, we need to be removed from the hospitalium, if for no other reason than it poses a hazard, not just to the persons in the hospital, the patients who have to live in the hospital because of circumstances, not only to the doctors and the nurses who practice at the hospitalium, but also for us, the general public, visiting, whether we're visiting sick relatives, whether we're coming to the pharmacy, whether we're coming as outpatients. Have you ever been to the hospitalium? Have you seen the roofing of the hospitalium? When you get there, you hear the roofing before you see it. You hear it before you see it. It's like galvanized sheets that are not anchored properly. And the slightest wind, and that area is very flat, and that area is very windy for the most part, and any little breeze that blows, you hear the roofing before you even see it. And I'm always terrified that somebody's going to be decapitated by one of those galvanized sheets that's covering the hospitalium. I have in the past reported on gas leaks. I have reported on floodings. I have reported on the poor air circulation. I have reported on the ticks. And as Dr. Ulrich Mendesi would say, it really is a dungeon of shame. Kudos to those who make it work, but there comes a point where it's just not working anymore. So I agree with that the hospitalium is not fit any longer to house patients, to provide a working environment for nurses and doctors and auxiliary staff. We agreed on that. But as I said, the four walls or the many, many, many walls, whether they're large or whether they're small or whether they're short or whether they're tall, does not constitute the hospital. Does not constitute a hospital. It does not constitute the sum total of healthcare. There's so much more going into healthcare. One of the persons who was there mentioned about 3 areas of profitability for a hospital as he's reasoning against privatization. He talked about pharmacy, he talked about the radiology department, and I think it was insurance. And yeah, I agree. But you know what? These are the areas that fall short of a hospital being run profitably. And when I say profitably, I'm not saying necessarily thinking of immense profits, but at least to break even. These are the areas that would constitute a hospital being efficiently run, being able to cover its cost, being able to meet its wage bills, being able to afford basic amenities like cotton gauze, like aspirin, like basins, like gloves. So when you make those kinds of statements against privatization, what you're in effect you're doing is that you're creating an incubator outside of the hospital, because you know what, the hospital is not going to be able, the way our hospitals are run right now, they're not going to be able to afford the basic amenities. And so we will continuously need to go outside of the hospital anyway to get our medication and pharmacology, because the hospital cannot afford. How many of you at home have experienced going to the hospital? The doctors there prescribe medication to you, then you go down to the pharmacy and you can't get the medication at the pharmacy. Makes no sense to you? Makes no sense to me as well. And that's what I'm saying. So when we're making cases against privatization, let us look at the persons who are against privatization. We're talking about monies going out. Monies already are going out of the hospital. Monies are already not remaining at the hospitals that we currently have because of poor management. And when I say poor management, do I mean that the CEO or the managers of the hospital aren't capable? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But unless we, the citizens, take our health care seriously, until and unless we stop putting our health care in other people's hands, then we're going to have a problem. We will continue to have a problem. Now, the doctors who want to see the hospitals in St. Lucia remain government institutions, the doctors who want to see, who are so concerned about our health care, I commend you. Because a lot of times you find practitioners who don't really care about the persons that they're supposed to be taking care of. Whether you're doctors or human resource managers or whatever. So long as you're practicing in a field, you're supposed to care about the persons who fall within the ambit of your care. How about we hear there is an association of doctors, and that 1 week in a month, whether it's every 3 months, every 6 months, every 4 months, they come together and provide health care pro bono. Specialized health care. I'm talking about those doctors who, internists, We're talking about the nephrologists. We're talking about, hi, Dr. Morel. We're talking about those doctors who are specialized in a field that most St. Lucians cannot access because of the exorbitant fees. So a lot of times we talk about healthcare and we say the exorbitant cost of healthcare. It's not at the hospitals, because for one, we already don't pay the hospitals, and for two, the fees that we are charged at the hospitals are very low. It's when we go outside of the hospitals that we have an issue. So yeah, you will not want the hospitals to be privatized because it will be in direct competition with those doctors out there. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that you can't want to have a private practice, but we can't look at every aspect of an equation separately and expect to be able to solve that equation. We have to look at it holistically. We have to be able to say, okay, A plus BX plus CY gives us ABXY. Find X. We can't just look at X without looking at Y or without looking at A. We've got to look at the whole equation as a whole, and then to get the answers that we're looking for. So all of these things, while I was very impressed and I was very happy that the SLMDA came together and that persons came out in support of and to air their grievances and to listen and to try to form their own opinions. These are some of the things that I would like to have ventilated. Now, I will tell you that the original date for that meeting, I would have been available to attend. However, the meeting was then pushed back to Friday, and that was a little bit of a problem for me. So I took in maybe the last half of the meeting. So I wasn't privy to everything, but from what I heard, from what I was privy to, good stuff. But to my mind, it wasn't enough. I wanted to hear how everybody, all of the various moving parts that form a part of the healthcare system is going to come together and work together to ensure that St. Lucians are provided the best healthcare that's within our professional, specialized realm. I only heard about the hospitals, but I didn't hear about, the auxiliary services that are provided and the private practices. So you want to go to a specialist and you have to spend so much money, making it prohibitive for most St. Lucians to access. That's also part of the healthcare. It's not just what resides at the hospital, privatized or otherwise. All of the healthcare professionals and practitioners form a part of the healthcare system. You don't hear about the justice system and only hear about the prosecution. You also hear about the defending lawyers, and you also hear about the police, and you hear about the justice minister, and you hear about all of the bits and pieces that come together to form the justice system. It's the same thing with the healthcare system. So I will leave that with you tonight, because tonight we have, as I said, we have 7 ladies in studio with us, and it's going to take up some time. So when we come back next week, we will delve a little bit more in depth in the town hall meeting last week. And I'm really going to aspire to get maybe Dr. St. Rose or one of the other persons, maybe Dr. George or somebody. I'm going to try to see if I can get one of those persons who were integral in the meeting last week to be my guest and for us to discuss fully what the healthcare system and what's the way forward. One of the things that really struck me was that, I keep hearing we were working in the background, we've been working in the background, but yet still there's another week needed to put together the final touches of whatever plan. But if you were working in the background all these years, why are we still waiting another week? I heard a lot of people criticize the government, the prime minister, for saying within a month, and I'm one of those criticizing the prime minister for another month. I mean, we've had this commission, this audit, this financial audit or this physical audit or whatever it is they want to call, done for so long. We've been hearing about Guy Joseph talking about, that audit. And it's so long and we're still waiting for another month. So I'm not impressed with that. So when I had the other side, who was supposed to be coming up with an alternate solution, still waiting for more time, it really drives me up a wall, because you've been working in the background. You should be hitting the ground running. You shouldn't be now asking persons, what do you think? You should be proposing and letting them tear it apart and put it back together and thrashing it out. Take the lead, man. Take the lead. You want to take the lead? Take the lead in a real, substantial way. Not now, okay, so after we've talked all that talk and da-da-da-da, what do you think? Makes no sense to me, because you've been working in the background and you have the expertise. You know the conditions that you want to be working under. You know, by working with your patients every day in, day out, what are the conditions that they're suffering, the indignation that they're suffering, and that could make it better. Because a lot of the times, your recovery from illness has a lot to do with your environment. So yeah, you should know. You should not be waiting another week. You should be coming to the people and saying, hey, this is what we propose as an alternate solution to this untenable situation that we find ourselves in. What say you? And then let them break it apart. Because I have experienced this so many times, being in environments where you come to people and you say, okay, let me hear you. And all of a sudden, all the thoughts that were in their heads is swirling, but they don't know, they don't have a focal point. So you have to focus it. You've got to be there. You want to lead from the front in a tangible, very, very tangible way. Let's get it done, people. You can't be saying that I'm wrong, but you don't have a solution or an alternate to make it right. It just doesn't work that way. Enough said. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, I will introduce you to my first guest, and then we will delve into the Spectacular 7. See you on the other side of the break. Tonight is going to be a show with a difference. Now, earlier I said Spectacular 7.
It's actually the Sensational 7.
It's actually the Sensational 7. I swear, one of the ladies in studio is pregnant. And I swear I'm having her pregnancy brain, because nothing stays. Nothing is staying in my head tonight. So forgive me. No, I'm not the one pregnant. I just have the pregnancy brain. And without further ado, on that note, I would like to introduce to you my first guest this evening, Ms. Donnelly Esteva St-Ange. Now, before Donnelly comes on, you may remember last year, I did a show with a young lady, Melissa Alexander, from the Alexander Family Foundation and Events. And we were all excited about her inaugural annual Miss Curves with Confidence. And a lot of you were, oh, what's that about and whatever. And those of you who made the trip down to Soufriere have not stopped talking about it. Well, it's back. Miss Curves with Confidence 2018 is going to be happening next week, or this weekend rather. And although May is unable to be here with us tonight, she has sent her Sensational 7.
Yes.
Her Sensational 7. And with me this evening also is our inaugural queen, Miss Curves with Confidence 2017, Mrs. Donnelly Esteva St-Ange. Welcome, Donnelly.
Thank you, Laura.
But how does it feel to be back in studio, albeit on the other side representing the organization?
Much less pressure. I can tell you that. It's amazing. I know exactly what the ladies are feeling tonight. Hearts are pounding, brains are going all over the place, thinking, oh, I better remember what my chaperone said, or else, my chaperone had a tough time with me, I can tell you that. But it feels awesome to be on this side. And I feel very encouraged too to be able to provide support to Melissa and the foundation, because I know she and Gary have worked so hard to build it to where it is. I was privileged to be the social transformation officer who actually started the foundation with them, giving them guiding steps. So this is just amazing all around.
Wonderful. How has your year been? I know that you've traveled with the Alexander Family Foundation and events all over, doing all of the other events, because this is not the only event that the foundation does, and you've been with them throughout. So how has that year been as the reigning queen and being the ambassador pretty much for the Alexander Family Foundation?
That has been just awesome as well, because it just added to the fact that I love social work. In training, much to my mother's chagrin, I gave up the opportunity to be a doctor so I could be a social worker.
Wow.
Because I, number one, preferred to work with live people, because I was going to be a forensic pathologist. So.
Well, and you know, we need that so much. But that will be a discussion for another day, Donnelly, because we so need forensic experts in this
country. I know my mother cringes every time. But she supported me, and I went into the social field, and I love it, because I love working with people and seeing the real impact that you have on their lives. And this is what the Alexander Family Foundation is all about. When we did the donations to the children, books and school supplies, when we did the donations to the families with grocery items and other necessary stuff, we also did the donation to the after school program. You know, these are the things that we call them AFI, the Alexander Family Foundation is all about. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, almost as passionate as you are with the hospital issue. And it has truly been a blessing to work with them in my capacity as a social worker and as the reigning Miss Curves with Confidence.
Awesome. And you know, I understand completely what you are what you're experiencing, because just a little segue here, on Sunday was Mother's Day. Now everybody knows that I don't have kids, but every Mother's Day I get so many happy Mother's Day, and I have to go like, I'm not a mom, and they're like, yes you are, because I'm the choir director for the junior choir in my church. And yes you are, because you're a surrogate mom to our kids. And so I'm like, okay then, thank you. So this year I was totally prepared to just say thank you graciously and not say, but I'm not a mom. And this was the year that these kids, almost 25 of them, honored me, you know, and made it the whole church. And I was not expecting, I'm a very emotional person, so I don't like those moments, because it just makes me teary-eyed. And I got that. So I understand what it's like when you do something because you love it, yes, and then realize on the back end of it that, hey, what you're doing for the love of it is appreciated by the recipients, and they're not afraid and ashamed to show that they're appreciative of it, and they tell you that, and they show you that in a very tangible way. So I understand completely how that is for you, and how May feels about.
And that's what I was going to say. Melissa and Gary are just, you know, I swear Melissa has the biggest heart of anybody I know. And, you know, they go above and beyond to ensure that everything they do, number one, is above board, and number two, benefits the community. And it's not just the community of Soufrière. They've extended to Choiseul and Canaries as well. I'm very sure that when the foundation really takes off, it's going to be a national thing. They had the 758 talent show, and we got people from all around the country. You know, this was something that gave people an opportunity, and people even came to me when I was volunteering with the show and said, you know, had they known sooner that it would be on this level, they would have made such an effort to attend. And I really hope that Alexander Family Foundation can come through with it again next year. So the queen, whoever she is going to be for 2018, you have some pretty big shoes to fill.
Absolutely, because let me just tell you, Donnelly was everywhere with Talent 758, with all the drives and everything. She was everywhere, and I love I love that. You said a lot of the times we have young women who participate in those pageants and the year ends and the only time you really hear about them or that they make any prominence is when they're prepared to hand over the crown or to crown the next queen. But with you, you were everywhere, and you know, with the foundation, they ensured that, you know, you were the ambassador, and I couldn't think of a better ambassador to be chosen.
Thank you.
You know, you worked for it, but it's heartening to know that the judges got it right. You know, that you made it through. All the girls were talented, but you made it through, and it was the right choice because you really came through for the foundation. This year, when is the foundation going? When is the show going to be held?
It's going to be held on Saturday, May 19th. It's at the Mon Coubaril Estate. It's at 7:30. We're encouraging persons to get their tickets early because the tickets are $50. You pay $60 at the door. So, you know, I mean, we Lucians, we love to wait until the very last moment. If you want to give the Alexander Family Foundation an extra $10, hey, we love it.
Yeah, and it goes to a worthy cause.
Very worthy cause. Very worthy cause. But, you know, just to have the foundation know in terms of space and how many people we may be catering for. Because last year, almost at the beginning of the show, there was a huge influx of people, you know, and people had to be standing to the back and, you know, so, but I'm encouraging everyone to come out and support because this isn't just a fashion show. This isn't just another pageant. And the other day I was, you know, bitterly debating this on Facebook. Where somebody made the comment that, why so many fashion shows? Why so many pageants? What do these people even do? And I detailed everything that I had done during the year, and thank God it had been so much, you know. And the young ladies who are going up for this show, it takes a lot because, as you can see, I may be a blow-up Barbie, but a Barbie nonetheless. And these young ladies, they're not your typical model. They're not your typical stage personality. It takes a lot for someone of our size and our stature to go out there and show what we have and show that we're just as pretty, just as talented, just as educated as any one of the stick figure young ladies that we normally see on the stage. And this is not hating on the slim girls at all. I used to be a slim chick, but I'm just saying that for you it's a matter of fact, you know, that you're on the stage. For us, it's a matter of we having to battle against negative comments. Last year, oh my God, I got a comment saying that I was seated on the Queen's chair and they couldn't see the chair behind me. You know, I mean, these things are hurtful, you know, and these are some of the comments that the young ladies are going to have to deal with when they go up on that stage. People are going to speak about cellulites and rolls and stuff, and these are things that they're us. They make us who we are. You know, it's not for everyone, trust me, but we do it, and we do it very well.
Now I'm hearing you speak of this, and I just got cold, and I just got like, how mean can you be?
Yeah.
And in an age where we're talking about bullying in schools and bullying online, and we're talking about kids, you know, having to battle this, but then when adults are perpetuating that against other adults, now you have to go home to your kids and you've got to tell them, you know, when somebody does this to you, what to do. But this is it's a bashing on you and your self-esteem, and it really resonates and it really hurts. And then you have to be strong and brave and go out and spread the message to your own kids.
Do you know that my talent for the last show actually came from exactly that? A friend of mine, we're very good friends, her daughter says to me, she's chubby, and she said to me, Auntie Hannah, why are you always so happy? I said, well, Mia, why not? And she was the one who acted with me during my talent. And I wanted to show her that being chubby didn't mean that you're ugly. Being chubby didn't mean that you had to be upset or starve yourself or conform to what anybody else thinks of you, you know. And I wrote that entire poem with Mia in mind, and it was just a tribute to me in my younger days, to her, and everybody like us who gets bullied and tormented and tortured because of our size.
You know, you said something, you just mentioned something there that you said, doesn't mean that you have to starve yourself.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't mean that you have to hate on yourself. I would really like for an entity, maybe, I have a foundation, it's called Caring Hands Foundation. We primarily do work with kids and by extension mothers. And maybe that's one of the project that we can undertake to see how many children suffer from bulimia and anorexia because of that kind of attitude. The thousands, the millions of kids who die every year around the world as a result of bulimia and anorexia is unfunny. And it stems directly, primarily from bullying, because they look different from somebody else, because they're chubby, because they do not conform to what society thinks that they should be. That's wrong. It's wrong at any age. You know, and I'm saying, and I'm feeling quite emotional. I have nieces, I have children, young girls who growing up, and it's so important for them to have such a wonderful self-image at a very tender age, so that when they grow up, because a lot of things happen. You said earlier that you were a slim chick, but the number of things that happen why you're no longer a slim chick, kids, you know, health conditions, so many things. It's
Genetics.
Yeah, there's this girl that's on TV. I can't remember her name. The name just slips me. I tell you, I have pregnancy brain. Name just escapes me. But she has a thyroid problem, and she was a slim chick, and she just blew up, and nothing she does helps. And everywhere she goes around the world, you get those bullies who think it's okay to ridicule somebody because they look different from them, and it's wrong.
It's sad.
It really is.
Absolutely
And this is one of the reasons why I really commend Melissa and Gary. And by the way, Melissa and Gary are a husband and wife duo. So you see, this is what family is all about. You do things together, encouraging each other. And that's one of the reasons why I really commend them for putting on this show, because it's something different. It's accepting and acknowledging that we're all different.
And all beautiful in
our own right.
way.
And the other thing that I really, really dislike when people say, I remember, I'm very self-deprecating, so I make fun of myself. So you can't make fun of me because I make fun of myself. And nothing you can say about me that's going to make me feel, oh, because I know who I am. I love me for who I am. It took me a while to get there, but I'm here and I ain't leaving for nobody. And I remember saying to some friends and family, you know, my sister said something was wrong, and I said, yeah, so after I'm fat and ugly, I'm supposed to have whatever. And then they go, oh, but at least you have a beautiful face. I'm like, I have a beautiful face, but I have a beautiful mind. I have a beautiful personality. There's so much more about me. And the size that I am, what makes you think that I'm not beautiful?
Exactly.
The size that I am. You may not like it, may not be your cup of tea, and that's okay, because trust me, honey, skinny ain't for me. But, you know, it's so, we're so mean without wanting to be mean, or without even trying to be mean. So I'm the sum total of my face, because I have a beautiful face. But this is not what we're here about. We're here to celebrate women of all shapes and sizes, in particular those curvaceous ones.
And in particular, the ones that embody the confidence that these young ladies have and will be portraying on May 19th.
Right. So and I think last year when May was here, she was talking about it not being a Miss Big and Beautiful for a reason.
Yes.
For a reason, because she really wanted to emphasize the confidence that it takes to be able, like you said, to be able to stretch your stuff on that stage, you know, to be able to present yourself in all of your glory and to be judged. And in your head, you're probably judging yourself and not being the kindest to yourself, but you putting yourself out there and showing the world that it's okay. You know, it's okay. And you talked about cellulite,
Yeah.
but there are skinny people who have cellulite, and cellulite is not something that is inherent to bigger persons. It's something that happens as you age, and there are some young people who have a ton of cellulite and they're skinny as well. So there's a lot that we have to understand, a lot that we have to recognize, a lot that we have to appreciate about plus size women.
Definitely.
Great. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll introduce you to two more of our ladies, and we'll have a little chat with them, and hopefully we can get through all 7 before the evening is done and still have you interface with them at the end of the show. Stay tuned. Back to what's happening now with Laura, and in the previous segment we had a little chat with the current reigning Miss Curves with Confidence, and she really gave us some food for thought and really gave us pause on some of the issues that face curvaceous women, or plus size women as we're most commonly called. And one of the things she talked about was the bullying and one of the and the name calling. And I want you to understand, especially the young kids out there who already are experiencing low self-esteem for whatever reason it may be. A lot of the times it has to do with emotional baggage, not being accepted by their own family. The people who are responsible and charged with caring for them and loving them regardless of their shape, their size, their height, the color of their skin, the color and shape of their eyes and whatnot. And these kids grow up with a lot of challenges. And we spoke about bulimia. And let me just give an example of what bulimia is, so that some of you who may know somebody who's bulimic may be able to recognize the symptoms and the signs and be able to speak with somebody about it. And bulimia is an emotional disorder involving distortion of body image and an obsessive desire to lose weight, in which bouts of extreme overeating are followed by depression and self-induced vomiting, purging, or fasting. And a lot of young girls, especially teenage girls, go through that period in their lives when they're gangly, or their friends, the kids that they've gone to school with all their lives, are now developing. They've got breasts, they've got their waist is, they're small and they have hips and they're becoming young women. And they themselves are still a figure 1, and they have not blossomed, and they're what people call the late developers, and then they go through this self-doubt. Or the flip is true, where all your friends are figures, which was what I experienced growing up. All your friends are figures, but you were an early developer. You blossomed early. You've got boobs where your friends are flat-chested. You've got hips where they're really hips. What's that? Why is your butt expanding and that kind of thing? They don't understand. And then you're the only one who's different and try to conform to what society is or what society expects of you. And if your family does not support you and is not able to give you that guidance, these are some of the things that you could fall prey to. And so moms, dads, family, communities, let's try to minimize the negative words that we use when we describing our kids certain features. They're growing and they're blossoming, and all of a sudden, great grandma's big boobs, that's who has it. Everybody else has small boobs, but you take that from your great grandmother, there's big boobs, or big butt, oh my gosh, bubble butt, or whatever. Let's try to minimize that and try to encourage our children to love themselves for who they are, because they'll grow up to be young women who will have kids and perpetuate the same cycle, or they will be maladjusted because they don't know otherwise. Anyway, enough of that. With me on my couch right now, I have two lovely young ladies. Annabelle Rollins, she's representing Majestic Taxi and Tours, and Portia Gustave representing Fondue Plantation Resorts. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Introduce yourselves to the public, which is which, Annabelle?
Hi, I'm Annabelle Rollins, and I am Miss Majestic Taxi and Tours.
Okay, so let's start with you, Annabelle. What made you want to be?
Well, I decided to take part in this pageant because I have a passion for pageantry, for modeling, for cosmetology. It is something that is not forced upon me, and it is something that I have developed my own voice, and I have gotten so much support and see that it suits me, so I want to pursue that. So I decided to take part in the pageant to do that.
Wonderful. And so I'm assuming that you have all of your family supporting you.
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. Yeah. And what do you think, or how do you expect to carry the duties of queen were you to be crowned queen on Saturday?
Well, I want to be an inspiration to plus size teens, especially because often we don't have a voice when we're that age and we're trying to see who we are. We don't know if we want to do, if it's a doctor, if it's a lawyer. Some of us just want to do makeup. As for me, that's what I want to do, and I see myself as being a role model for these teens in particular, because it's not everybody that goes the traditional way. So yeah, I think I could do that.
Have you always been plus sized or well endowed?
Yes, I've always been a plus size girl, so I know what it is to be that way from birth up until now. I've never been a skinny girl, so I've had my share of it.
Okay, so yeah. You heard some of the things that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And how was that growing up? Did most persons accept you, or did you get teased and then you had to find your way around?
Yes, I got teased a lot, and I found my voice maybe around 14 years old, where I did my first show at my secondary school, and I got so much support from my friends and teachers, everybody in the school, and I really didn't expect that. And with the support, it really made me comfortable to do this.
Okay, what about the boys? I know as teenagers, you know, you grow up, and then boys factor a lot in our lives, like at that age. Well, not for me, because I thought boys they were just a nuisance. I really thought they were just a nuisance. Like, why did we ever have boys in this world? But how did the boys receive you doing that pageant?
Well, I got a lot of support from them as well. I guess they saw something different in a curvy girl doing pageantry, and it made me seem different from the rest. So right. I got support.
So you got your voice quite early.
Yes.
At age 14.
Yes.
Okay. On to our next guest on our couch. Introduce yourself, Ms.
Hi,
Gustav.
I'm Portia Gustav and Miss Fordu Plantation and Resort, authentic, natural, St. Lucia.
She's authentic, St. Lucian. Whoa. Okay, talk about sassy. So, what about you, Portia? Why did you choose to do this pageant?
Okay, so I decided to do this pageant to actually build my self-confidence some more, and also because my fellow models, because I belong to a model group called Sachet Model Management, they decided that, oh, you're going to do the show this time because you're always saying we have to do. So the tables have turned.
Great. So you've got your own support system.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. As I asked Annabelle before, were you always a curvy girl, or did you get there?
I got there. From this, I know myself being this skinny girl with the big belly, almost malnourished. Oh, not that I was malnourished, no. But eventually, I'm like, oh, everybody has breasts, everybody has this, and where's mine? So I guess God said, now's your time, and He just gave it to me.
So how old were you when you got to that?
Let's say probably 12, 13.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. And how was that for you? Now, you always wanted to be curvy, so once you got to be curvy, how was that for you?
It felt good. I actually felt like I was properly nourished now, because you have the little bum and the little breast. the assets.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So it felt good because now I was part of everybody, although I had more than everybody now, but it didn't affect me in any way.
So you've always been this confident person.
I wouldn't say this confident, but gradually
Yeah.
it came.
And so you never did not want to be. And the reason I'm asking Sandisha all these questions is because I know that there are a lot of young kids watching. And it's very important to know that the spectrum is wide and there are different people along the spectrum. So there will be people who just didn't embrace it, who didn't want it, wanted nothing to do with it, just wanted to be that stick thin person, you know. And then there are other people who wanted it, and when they got it, embraced it. But there are also those who wanted it, got it, and it's like, oh, no, I didn't mean in that proportion. I didn't mean that much. I mean, like, can somebody make a joke or something? So understand you're not alone. You're not alone in this. So now that you're doing this pageant, what is the support like being for you?
It has been wonderful. My mom is behind me every day. She's like, did you practice today? Yes, I did.
Now she knows.
Even if I didn't, I'm like, yes, I did. And my aunt, my sister, everybody's just like, you have this. You could do it. There's nothing to be afraid of. You've been doing it like forever. So
were you to be crowned queen on Saturday, what would your reign be like?
I'm 100% ready to be behind May and Gary and to just be out there and help a lot of young people, because I know for sure that this bullying thing, it exists. And it's time that somebody steps up and says that all of us cannot be the size zero.
Yes, what a boring
if
world.
all of us had to be size zero, there'd be nothing interesting in this world, because
Absolutely.
what's the difference? But now you have to understand and embrace that plus size, skinny, we're all this individual that God created, and He loves us no matter what skin that we're in, and we have to begin to love ourselves. So letting a lot of young persons, especially young children, 10, 11, at that time they're confused, they're not sure, do I really want to be plus size? Do I really want to be skinny? You have to just let them know that you have to love the skin that you're in. If you don't love yourself, then nobody's going to love you. You have to start with yourself.
Exits outwards. So this has been two of our ladies, Annabelle Rollins and Portia Gustav. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll introduce you to two more of the ladies. Stay tuned. With me in this segment are two other ladies, and the persons of Richiana Hippolyte, representing Sugar Beach, and Michelle Octave, representing the Alexander Family Foundation and Events. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, good evening, Sandisha.
Let's start with you, Richiana. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, who you represent, and why you've decided to do this pageant.
Hi, good evening, St. Lucia. My name is Richiana Hippolyte, a proud ambassador for Sugar Beach, a Viceroy resort. We are the victors, we are the spoils, we are Viceroy. And I hail from Soufrière. Reason for taking part in this pageant is really to show my daughters that whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve it. And also to help raising funds for the young children that we want to give back school supplies this year.
Wonderful. So your daughters are how old?
1 year and 5 years.
Wonderful. So they're at the age where you have to start grooming them.
Yes, yes.
To be accepting of themselves.
Yes.
Okay, great. As I asked the other ladies earlier, were you always plus size? Were you a skinny chick? Did you just fall into this? Like, what's the deal with this?
I was a skinny chick, and life happened, and I became a mother. I sort of lost myself, and my curves came along, and I've had a lot of headache about it, because up till today, persons are like, why are you going up for the pageant? You're not curvaceous. I'm like, what do you really want? I was small, then they were like, you're too small. Now I've put on a little weight now. You're too big, or you don't even have the size to go up further. I'm like, what do you want?
And that's the other thing I don't understand. A lot of people think that for you to be entering this kind of a pageant, you have to be like grotesque. But it's not about that. It's not about being morbidly obese. It's not about being oversized. It's about having curves and not being the mold, the typical mold of a model or the usual pageant contestant. It's about showing that there are women of different sizes and different shapes and different curves, but more importantly, it's about the confidence that you exude and what's between your head, you know. So for you, it's been a little bit you're not sure where you are because you're not skinny, you're not the size that most people think you ought to be in this pageant. How do you deal with that?
Sometimes I just ignore it totally. I'm like, you know, Richiana, you know yourself. No one knows you, so don't let what persons say affect you. And I just live life and be happy and make my girls happy. That's what really matters, honestly.
Great, wonderful. That's a good mindset to have. Yes. And to you, Michelle.
Yeah.
How are you?
Great.
And you're representing the organizers, the Alexander Family Foundation and events.
Yes.
How has that been for you?
Great.
Have you? I'm going to ask you similar questions that I asked Richiana. Have you always been a plus size girl, or were you a skinny chick and then you blossomed into that role?
A plus size girl from small, so always small.
Yeah. And how has that been for you? How did you grow up? Did persons tease you? Were you always?
A lot of people tease me, but I didn't make that a problem for me.
It wasn't a problem for you.
No.
You always had the support of your family?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, if you were to be crowned queen on Saturday night, what would you most want to be remembered for?
For stop bullying.
So you want to have it on that platform, and I think a lot of times this is the platform that most people want to operate from, you know, because it's just that size. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but it seems to be when you're plus size that a lot of people feel that it's an opportunity to bully, and it really isn't. Like, I never got bullied, and I had curves from a tender age. I tell people all the time, you guys say, oh, I was a skinny chick. I used to be a tall chick. Nobody believes me anymore because they don't see me as anything but at age 11, I was the height that I am today. So just imagine you're in a class of pubescent little girls, no boobs. They have nothing, but you're already sprouting boobs and you're already sprouting hips. And you're tall, you're 5'2", 5'3", you're already that height, and most girls at that age are not even 5 feet yet. Yeah. So I was like a giant. So I always embraced who I was. But the kind of personality that I had, a lot of people, they didn't think, oh, bully Laura, oh, that's at your own detriment. It's death, staring death in the face. People didn't bully me. So I didn't have that. But internally, I was at war with myself. Yes. So you have a lot of that going on. Is there anything that you want to say to people out there, especially young kids who are facing being plus size at a young age? Either one of you.
Well, what I really want to say to them is, like I said, you know yourself, no one knows you. So what they say doesn't really matter. Live life, be happy, and, you know, do like me.
And she has a beautiful smile and she's dealing with that very well.
Smile a lot.
And that will help.
Definitely.
Awesome. Now we still have, we've gone through 4 girls. We still have 3 more girls to go. So we'll take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to our other 2 girls. Hopefully we get at least 10 minutes to open the lines to you guys, because we do have 2 tickets to give away to you, the public. Stay tuned. Good evening and welcome back to What's Happening Now with Laura. Now we've met 4 of our young ladies. We've met Richiana Hippolyte, we've met Annabelle Rollins. I put an extra A on that, but it's Annabelle Rollins. I tell you, got pregnancy brain. Michelle Octave, I almost said Gustave. Portia Gustave. So let's go with that again. Richiana Hippolyte, Annabelle Rollins, Michelle Octave, and Portia Gustave. And with me now are our final 2, Krista Casabon and Vanette Jules. And for those of you who think, oh, the pregnancy brain is working, she counted 6 girls and she said there were 7. It's a sensational 7. Terry Ann Compton, who's representing Cool Joint Disco, is unable to be with us this evening because she's a little ill and we want her well rested so that she can put on a fantastic show for you on Saturday. Okay. So, Krista, let's start with you because I know you. Yes, so let's start with Krista. Krista, introduce yourself to St. Lucia.
Good evening, St. Lucia. I am Krista Casabo, proudly representing Forest Springs, one of the best waters on the island.
Great. So, Krista is representing Forest Springs, and as the name suggests, it is spring water. Krista, why did you decide to do this pageant? And like, I think it was Richiana. I was on my couch before. It was Michelle and Portia? Richiana. So I was right. That ain't nothing easy, you know. Richiana, like Richiana was saying, she have been criticized for being too small to be on the pageant. Now you're a little bit on the smaller side as well. What has that been like for you?
Okay, there were a lot of negative comments on Facebook, which a lot of people find that I didn't fit the criteria.
And what is the criteria?
Well, they were considering something for thick ladies with round behinds, curves. They say I don't have any curves.
I can see you, and I can see that you're a thick lady with the behind and all of that. What is your response to that kind of negativity? Because we always find negative comments on anything. You round, you too round. You slim, you too slim. You're in between. You have no business being in between. So how do you handle that kind of criticism?
Okay, most of the times I just ignore it, let it pass by, walk with my head high, because I'm trying my best to build up my confidence.
So why did you decide to be in this particular pageant? Why did you not say, okay, well, I'm in between, let me try to go on that side and try to lose some weight and be on the, you know, the skinny girl pageant? Why you decided to stay the size you are and to enter this particular pageant?
Well, I decided to take part in the pageant because I find that it gave me the opportunity to challenge myself, and it gave me the opportunity to give back to charity.
All right. Now, were you a skinny girl and then blossomed, or?
I was a very sexy skinny girl at school.
So those persons who knew you at school were like,
yes.
What happened to her?
Yes.
You know, you get that when they see you, they haven't seen you for a while.
Yes. Well, that changed because I have 2 beautiful girls now, because you know motherhood, your body changes after. So.
And so that now are you comfortable in that, or do you hanker for the days when you were that sexy skinny chick and want to go back there?
Well, I'll be honest, I am comfortable the way I am because I didn't make myself. So I'm just living with it.
Okay, because a lot of people, they try so much, they wear the same clothes that they wore when they were skinny and all of that, and not accepting, okay, so I'm now bigger size, but there's so much that I have. It just means that I have so much more to work with, as opposed to when I was skinny. When I was skinny, I had this little bit. Now that I'm bigger, I have this much more. Yeah?
Yes.
What's about you, Vanette? Introduce yourself to St. Lucia.
Good evening, St. Lucia. I am Vanette Jules, proudly representing Sanders Foundation.
Great. So you have big shoes to fill, eh? The Sanders Foundation, Sapati Boy. Sapati Boy. Are you getting good support though from your sponsor?
Yes, I am.
And so you know they're going to want to come out and give you all the support. So you have to come out big. Not that any of the other sponsors on Gourmet in their own right, but when you hear Sandals, this is a regional chain, and they've been doing a lot. The foundation that is has been doing a lot. So when, and I know the Sandals workers, when you see they come out, when they have a contestant, boy, they come out in full force, and they always expect to come out on top. How has that been for you, and how do you think you can represent your sponsor?
Well, the support has been good from the beginning. When I told them, like, I want to do the pageant, they was like, okay, no problem, and I want them to sponsor me. And they said, yes, they didn't think twice.
Right.
And they said, okay, we'll be there for you, and which they have been doing. And I'm grateful for that. I could say I just want to go out there, do my best, and prove those at work that that is saying, oh, you won't win or you won't place, or the negativity. I just want to show them that, you know, I can do it.
That Vanette, he has the guns. That she's ready. She's ready. Now, again, I'm going to ask you the question I've asked all of the other contestants. Were you a skinny chick, or were you always a plus-size girl?
Basically, I wasn't that skinny, but I wasn't that curvy.
Okay, so you
So
were
I was
in the in-between.
So I used to get the good comments.
Oh, so you were one of the girls that had all the curves and all the right places and all of that, so it was good. You didn't get a pichet salad. You know, people are so mean. You know, they call you all sorts of names when you're skinny. Then they call you all sorts of names, you know, when you're on the other end. But you had it good from start because you had the perfect proportions and everything.
Yes, I did.
Great. So what about family support? Do you have...
I have a lot of family support, full 100, I must say. I have my full family coming down to Soufrière.
So you when you say coming down to Soufrière, you're from which community?
A Millet.
So when Danielle comes back on the couch, we have to talk about where the ladies are from, because you're from PI and you're from Millet, so that's like whoa, all over the place. So already Alexander Family Foundation and Events is going spreading the tentacles and coming out. Maybe next year I'll participate. No, I don't think. I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I did pageantry once. I did a pageant once. I was first runner up, and let me tell you something, boy. I don't know about that. I don't know how you girls are able, especially those persons who do pageants all the time. I don't know how you're able to do that, and it's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure. Great. So if you were to be crowned queen on Saturday, how do you expect, or how would you define your year?
Okay, if I were to be crowned on Saturday, I just want to go out there and, you know, build, help the young girls, build their self-confidence, if they're not socialized, you know, to be more socialized, help them in becoming who they want to be. Because at work I get a lot of negativity, which I don't really care. And everybody say there's like Vanette Tapamele.
So you like the crazy one?
Yeah, so I like that
one.
crazy one.
Yeah.
And then just for my daughters, the last one especially, she said, "Mommy, you doing a pageant again, Mommy? How you doing that?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm into it."
So this is not your first pageant?
No.
So you love pageantry?
Yes. I must shout out my girl Portia. She was the one who brought me through. Yes.
Oh, okay. Your girl Portia, as in Portia.
Portia Gustav.
Oh, Portia Gustav. Oh, okay.
Because when she entered, she gave me that phone call and she said, "Oh, there's this pageant. Do you want to?"
And so now you guys are going to be going against each other.
Yes,
but it's nice to have pageants where you have a friendly rivalry, because at the end of the day, you guys are all aiming for the same thing, right?
And she was my chaperone for the previous one.
Oh.
So it's like the students gonna beat the teacher.
Yes. That's a good one. What about you, Krista? What would your platform be if you were to be crowned queen
Okay, if I were to be crowned queen on Saturday night, I would love to help the young children now, help them socialize, help them build them their self-esteem, their confidence, especially those that are fake. And I'm doing this pageant for my two girls.
Most of everybody here has girls, eh? I didn't really hear anybody say about their boys. Oh, there are some people who have boys. Yeah, I can see the.
Because boys are not.
Said Lucia, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Two hands went up. I've got boys, and one said, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing. Welcome to the club. Oh, you guys are a fun bunch, But it's very warm to know that most of you want to work with children and you want to be good role models, especially now that we're having so much negativity against women and the way we dress and always there's. There's a song that says man was made to suffer, but woman was made to feel the pain or something like that. Boy, woman really feeling pain. But we're due for a break. When we come back, we'll come back with Donnelly, and we have 2 tickets to give away. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. It's just warming up. Last segment of the Miss Curves with Confidence edition of what's happening now with Laura. Back on the couch is Miss Donnelly Esteva Satange, and she is the reigning Miss Curves with Confidence. Welcome back, Donnelly.
Thank you, Laura.
Right, now you had something that you wanted to share with us, and not just with us in here, because I think we've gotten that down pat, but with the viewing public.
Definitely. This young lady, most of us would know her as Precious from the movie. Her name is Gabari Sidibe. And she says, and I live this every single day, if they hadn't told me I was ugly, I would have never searched for my beauty. And if they hadn't tried to break me down, I would have never known I was unbreakable. I would like all young women, but especially curvy young women, to live this. People will tell you awful things on a daily basis. You cannot change what people do to you. You can never change the actions of someone. But you can control your reaction to their action. And this, dear, is your reaction.
I love it. I love it. If they'd never told me I was ugly, I would have never looked for my beauty. And if they'd never told me, if they never tried to break me, I would have never realized that I was unbreakable. That is a good mantra, if any, to live by. Now, earlier we spoke with a couple of the pageants, Krista and Richiana, who mentioned that, they get a little bit negative whiplash by saying that they don't feel them fit the mold. They're not what is considered to be curvaceous. Now, when you were on the couch earlier, you mentioned that, you had your own negative whiplash where people were saying that you're so big that they couldn't see the chair behind you.
Definitely.
Two ends of the spectrum.
People called me morbidly obese. They said that, they hope that the stage is strong enough to hold me when I walk across. And I just laughed it off, really. It pissed me off a little bit because, you know what? I figure if you have nothing good to say, just say nothing at all. But some people just can't tolerate your joy and will stop at nothing to see your world burn. So my encouragement to the young ladies and to everyone who's faced with any sort of, body image issue is that you do you, and don't worry what other people say. it's not about them. It's about you and the way you feel in your own skin.
And that's one of the things I really love about Donnelly, because she has just this confidence that it's unshakable. It's like, where do you get this? Like, did you buy it in a store? Do you have it bottled? Or if it's not bottled already, can you bottle it? Can we now disseminate it to different people, children most especially? Because your confidence and you really embody what Miss Curves with Confidence is all about. Your confidence is unshakable.
I didn't always have it though, as funny as that might sound. A big part of it came from my mom, and my mom always saying to me, you know, she admittedly, you know, all moms want their little girl to be this, you know, small chick that she can hand all her clothes down to, because my mom's like a size 8, you know, and she always wanted me to be healthy. That was my mom's whole thing. She wanted me to be healthy. But then when she realized, listen, this chick is not going to be a toothpick, she said to me, you know what, Han? And that's my home name. She said, Han, just be you. Just be you. Be crazy you, be rambunctious you, be outspoken you, be wild you, be intelligent you, be you.
Fantastic. Now, for those persons who have a weird perception of what the mold is for this, give us a little background in the criteria of what a contestant of this show, what you're looking for in a contestant.
The criteria for Miss Curves with Confidence is not physical. As you can very well see, we come in all shapes and sizes. The criteria for Miss Curves of Confidence is heart. That's the criteria. Your heart and your mind. You have to have that confidence. You have to embody that powerful woman, right? And you have to have the love for what's going to come after. Okay, because being the queen isn't just being the queen. Being the queen means standing up with the foundation. Being the queen means, you know, giving of yourself and giving of your time. So those are the two main criteria for Miss Curves with Confidence. So if people don't know what it takes, a little bit of curves, whether it's
a lot of curves,
round,
a little curve,
a little curve. You know, hey, round is a shape. I always say
and
round is a shape.
There you go. So it's
and I am
definitely
very
not
round.
your waist size.
No,
it's definitely not your waist size.
And again, this was my mantra for the pageant last year, is that beauty is not a waist size, it's a mindset.
Beautiful. Now we have two tickets that we want to give away. So the lines are open. You can give us a call on 4519788. And this is the only way you can win the ticket. So don't send me a WhatsApp unless it is to encourage the young ladies. We have our very first caller, 4519788. You're on the air.
Good night.
Good night.
Let me welcome you to that show. The bigger the better.
There's somebody who loves the thick girls. The thicker the better.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. Okay.
Could you remember when you were 15, Laura?
When I was 16?
15.
If I remember when I was 15?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
About your height a while ago.
Yes.
You sure could remember that size?
Yes.
This is one of the person that was after you.
Oh, good Lord.
Ooh, Laura.
I haven't laughed like this in a long time.
Sitting next to you.
Sorry?
The person that is sitting next to you.
The person that,
I wish I was her age to challenge her. The more, the merrier. The bigger the size, the better. The better the feeling. So beauty is not about size.
But I blush.
I'm so happy my husband isn't in studio right now.
Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for the encouragement. Thank you so much. Are you going?
What I want you to do, Laura, is that I want you said something earlier o'clock, that everyone in the pageant has girls. So what you have to do, you have to bring back the Star of St. Lucia.
Have to bring back what?
The Star of St. Lucia, that the guy that tried to build dresses.
I didn't. Did you hear? Did you? I didn't get that one.
The guy that tried to build a lot of dresses.
Yes.
He's a model. bring him back to St. Lucia, and then you'll get all the men to be on the show.
Okay.
You know who that is? You will know. When I meet you, I'll tell you who's the person.
Okay. Or you can send me a WhatsApp because you know I'm a curious person.
Okay, all right, good. I will.
Send me a
Okay,
WhatsApp. Okay, then. Oh, you're not going to try for the ticket?
Oh, yes. For what should I do for the ticket?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Go ahead,
Okay,
Natalie, ask your question.
the first question is, what year was the Alexander Family Foundation founded?
Oh,
What
you're
year were
sending me
they
back to my
established?
Try another question with me, please.
Okay. Who are the founders of the Alexander Family Foundation?
Bye-bye, good night.
It is definitely not bye-bye and good night.
I tell you. Okay, well,
I'll WhatsApp you who's the person.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah. I love these kinds of callers, you know. We have another call. Hello, good evening. You're on the air.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
That sounds like my son.
Before I answer one of the questions, I just wanted to say that you guys are my biggest motivation because I was being teased in grade 4 a lot, and it really hurt me. And what you guys said, I was like, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true.
Oh,
I'm going to cry.
that's so sweet. So you ready to answer a question?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to ask Donnelly, which one you're going to ask her?
I'll ask the simpler one.
Go ahead.
Who are the founders of the Alexander Family Foundation?
Oh, the founders of the Alexander Family Foundation are Melissa and Gary Alexander.
Yay! I'm so happy.
Awesome.
We're happy that you got it. Okay. Yeah. Can you get your name?
Anna.
Anna? What's your last name, Anna?
Yeah. A-N-N-A.
What's your last name?
Oh, Avril. A-V-R-I-L.
Oh, Anna Avril. Okay. So, Anna, we have taken your name. How's she going to get her ticket?
Well,
she comes on the night?
Yeah,
okay, so when you come on the night, somebody will have your name at the gate, and then you will have your ticket ready for you. Okay, Anna? Okay, wonderful, darling. I look forward to seeing and meeting you on Saturday. Okay?
Yes.
All right, darling. Have a good night.
Stay beautiful, Anna.
I will. Thank you, I will.
Okay, good. Wonderful. I love it when the kids call.
Oh, yes.
I love it when the kids call. So we have one more ticket to give away. In the meantime, while we're waiting for another call, who are the sponsors?
Let's shout out.
We have another call. Quickly.
Okay.
Hi, good night,
Hi,
Laura.
good night.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Good night to the wonderful ladies.
Okay.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night, ladies.
I like your confidence.
Great.
And I must say I was a plus size lady also. But due to illness, I lost all my size. And now I'm battling with it because I prefer being a
I know who this is. I know who this is, and she is so right. She loves her curves, and I keep saying to her all the time, "But it would be so much." But no, I like my curves. I like my bum. I like my boobs.
You know,
yes.
And
now she's skinny. She don't like it.
yes. It's really a battle, you know. Going out there, the negativity, you know. When I was big, everybody, it was like, oh, you're getting too big, you're getting too fat. Now that I lost the weight, it's another problem. It's like, what? That's you. You don't look like you. You get so small and whatever. So
really
I just like the confidence, and I want you all to keep your heads up and continue the good.
Yes, thank you so much. Would you like to try for the ticket?
I don't know the year.
Okay. All right. But you know, it's they've only been around for a little bit. You know, it's
I know. I can give a hint.
Give a hint.
Because they were established on my birthday. Now, if you run to Facebook and you try and look up my birthday,
Your birthday. So that
she'll get the month, but she wouldn't get the year. She wouldn't.
That must be in the 19.
You see, I told you she'll get the month, but she won't get the year.
Definitely not the year.
Definitely not the year. Yes, yes. But thank you so much for calling and for sharing. I'm certain that it means a lot to
And she placed me in the 90s.
Yeah, I know,
right? Oh my gosh, I look that young.
Okay.
I'm an 80s baby.
Okay, then take care.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So we still have one more ticket to give away, and the question is, when was the Alexander Family Foundation and events established?
Yeah.
We have another call. Hello.
Hi, hello.
Yes, good night. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Hi, Donnelly. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi. I must say the girls look beautiful.
Great.
This is Melissa.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Melissa is our founder of the Alexander Family Foundation and events. So, May, what's the feedback like on the ground?
It's been really, really good. From last year, the show was well received, and this year it's been off the hook. And persons are looking forward to Saturday to come to the show.
How has ticket sales been?
Ticket sales have been good, really, really good. We have limited tickets left.
Wow.
I saved some tickets for the gate for some of persons that have asked me to save tickets for them. But the contestants, the tickets are going like flying colors.
Wow, wow, wow. Nice. And that's good, because I think it's a show with a difference. It's not the run-of-the-mill usual pageant, and everybody's looking for something different to spend their monies on, to be a part of. So I think that's a good thing.
That is correct, because I met a young lady, and she was at the show last year, and then she was like, when she heard about the show, she was like, you know what, I just want to go to the show just for going to the show's sake, because Superians love pageantry. However, when she got to the show and the ambience, the quality of the show, she said she will not miss it this year. And there were 5 of them, and all 5 of them have their tickets already.
Nice, very good, from early o'clock, because they know what they got last year. Last year I was very impressed with last year. I was very shocked by the turnout as well. I mean, I know you put a lot of effort into it, but being that it was the first one, you're not sure how it was going to be received, and from where I sat, it was well received, and everybody was into it. Everybody participated, and everybody had their posse, and it was a very good turnout.
Yes, and the ladies, they work well together. Dana can vouch to that.
Yes, I can, definitely.
They were really together, and even this year the ladies are together. You will get the hiccups along the way, but they're really sticking together, which is very nice. I mean, this year I can't do much. I wish I was on the show.
We're in that boat.
But I was asked to keep my feet up, so I have to.
So Melissa, absolutely. should we like throw some baby dust at Laura?
Oh no!
Let's hit Laura with the baby dust.
Hit me with the baby dust. Hit me with the baby dust. I think the baby dust needs a little water to activate. The baby dust needs a little water to activate.
Don't worry about Laura. She's more interested in the baby than me.
I know, because every time I call, how is the baby? How is the baby? Oh, by the way, how are you doing? Yes. But May, we want you to put your feet up, and we want you to be relaxed and comfortable,
rest.
Because Saturday is just around the corner, and we want you healthy.
Telling Melissa to rest is like telling a fish not to swim.
I know.
That's just.
But she has to take care of my little boy. Yeah. She has to take care of my little boy. So
Melissa, please rest.
Okay, May.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
I just want to say thanks to all the sponsors.
Yes, and we haven't gotten a chance to really go through them. Can you just run them through for us?
All the sponsors. I don't have them.
Okay, so Donnelly will do that.
We have Sugar Beach, a Viceroy Resort, Cool Joint Disco, Costuless Boutique, Buster Sounds, Piton Bear, Harry Edwards Jewelers, Choice TV, Sandals Foundation, Mystic Taxi and Tours, Fondue Plantation Resorts, and last but not least, Forest Springs.
Oh, wonderful. So this year you got quite a bit of sponsors.
Definitely.
Quite a bit of sponsors. And I know that the girls are going to be very happy with their prizes, whatever they will receive.
We also have some more sponsors, but on the night we're going to acknowledge them.
Okay,
because
wonderful.
I'm just putting all the sponsors together so that we can acknowledge every single person. Whether you chip in $5, you chip in $2, we will still acknowledge you as a sponsor.
I think last year really set the stage, and this is something, Melissa, kudos to you. I always say it, you know, and I'll continue saying so. You guys work so hard. And I think people are finally starting to realize, you know, what it is you're doing and want to get on board that way.
Absolutely.
So the sponsors will keep coming.
Absolutely. So thank you, May, and I'm going to see you on Saturday, so you have to rest.
You're definitely not trying for the ticket.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No. I'll leave that for the viewers.
Yes. No problem, May. See you on Saturday. Bye-bye. Yeah, so we're running out of time, so we need one more caller so that we can give away a free ticket. We have a call. Good evening, you're on the air? Yes, good night.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Dang.
Oh, what
and
happened?
we lost the call. And it was a guy too. We have another call. You're on the air? Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Pardon?
Yes,
Hi.
go ahead.
Okay, it was founded, the organization was founded in mid-2016.
Mid-2016.
She's very close.
She's close.
Very close.
Let's try to be more specific.
Can we get a month?
Thinking May or June? May 2016.
A little further down.
A little further down.
Okay, July 2016.
No!
you warm.
Okay, April 2016.
Okay, so we can't give it to you because you're all over the place now. No. So it's not May, it's not April, it's not July, but you were very close. One of these answers were pretty close. But thank you and keep trying.
Okay then.
Okay then, take care. We have a ticket to give away. Let's see if we can get one more caller. We have a call. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. You're trying for the ticket?
Yes, I am.
Okay, the question is, what year was the Alexander Family Foundation and Events established?
It was established in June 2016.
No, it was
not. No, not June. Not, I'm a Leo.
August 2016.
There you go.
There you go.
You
Wonderful.
What is your name?
Kezia Stefan.
Say that again.
Kezia Stefan.
Can you spell that?
Kezia.
Oh, Kezia. Last name?
Stephan.
Estefan.
Oh, Estefan.
Yes.
Stefan.
Oh, Stefan.
Oh, Stefan.
Stephan.
Phane.
Okay, Stefan. Stephan. Okay, so again,
Kezia, you will collect your ticket at the gate.
Aye.
Okay, on the night. So please be early because you don't want to come in with the rush of the crowd. You know, you want to be attended to, and the show starts at 7:30. So if you can get there for 7:30, then that would be awesome.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for participating, Kezia. Okay, last few moments. What do you have to say to our listening public?
Well, I would like to say to everyone to come out and support the girls.
Oh, we have a call before you continue. We have a call. That was the last caller. Good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night. You're on the air? You calling for the ticket? Huh?
Yes, wait, hold on.
We just gave away the ticket.
Huh?
I've been trying to for the longest while for the ticket. It keeps showing 9.
I'm so sorry. We just gave away the last ticket.
I know the exact date.
Oh, but we gave away the ticket already. We were looking for the exact date, but you know, we didn't get somebody. But we gave away the last ticket, so we don't have another ticket to give away. I'm sorry. We hope to still see you on Saturday.
Donnelly.
Hi. Somebody knows my birth date.
Well. I'm so sorry, but we've given away the tickets, okay?
But we do hope that you will come out and support the girls and that we'll see you on Saturday night.
I will.
Oh, okay, dear. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So, final words from you, Donnelly.
I was saying, I'm encouraging all of St. Lucia, especially Team Subi. They're going to murder me if I don't shout them out. Guys, I know you like the thick girls, so this is a show for you. And everyone in the general public, if thick is not your cup of tea, then we respect that and you can kindly stay home. But to everyone else who thinks that what we're doing is worthwhile and what these young ladies are putting themselves through to give you a show is a great effort, then we would love to see you on Saturday night. And I know Melissa and Gary would appreciate the support from the public. We'd also like to thank the sponsors who have been sponsors like Cool Joint and Sugar Beach and Choice TV. Well, I'm speaking about sponsors who have been there like from last year. We really appreciate your continued support. I represented Cool Joint last year, so they're near and dear to me, you know. And the new sponsors, we'd like to say thank you as well. Harry Edwards Jewelers, Sandals Foundation, and the rest of you. We really appreciate it. And when I say we, I'm saying on behalf of the Alexander Family Foundation and behalf of the young ladies here tonight. So all of St. Lucia, we appreciate your support thus far. Take it that extra mile and be there on 7:30 at Montco Barrel Estate, May 19th. Be there. You will not regret it.
I'll be there. And then until next week, this is where we end, and we'll have another exciting show for you then. Adieu.